Okay. Good morning, beloveds. I'm a little off kilter this morning, and I'm off kilter because my morning is weird. I have a doctor's appointment this afternoon. It's just my annual, but they're going to take blood, and so I had to get up and eat breakfast first. And then I have to wait until after my doctor's appointment to eat again. So, yeah. So I got up and ate a really hearty breakfast. So we'll see what that does. Okay, but we are here to do a new, well, we're finished with the book, okay? We're just doing the appendix. So we're doing the appendix for the book. So let's do the housekeeping. And the housekeeping is just me reminding you that we are Creative Life Spiritual Center. Website is creativelife.org. Constant contact email, info@creativelife.org. Get you one email a week. Tells you what's going on for the week and the month, and the hot links are hot. So, click here now means it. And it is a blind CC, so nobody will see your email. You won't hear about anybody else's email list because of us. And then the last thing I'll mention is the social medias, merely from the standpoint of we do not monetize them. We don't want to deal with the ads any more than you do. So we ask you to go like, subscribe, follow, based on which platform you're on, and then engage with the individual post by reacting to the post, commenting on the post, sharing the post. It bumps us in the algorithms. More people see our stuff. You get the drift. So it's a free and easy way that you can support the center by getting our stuff in front of more people. And we are Creative Life Spiritual Center or Creative Life Spark, and I am the running Rev Ryan across all of the social medias that I am on. So there is that. I know I don't run anymore. There is, hope someday that I will be able to run again. We'll see. All right. But that is neither here nor there. What we are doing is a new design. Oh, yeah, no, I'm done. A new design for living. Now, this book, I very much enjoyed this book. This is definitely in my top 5. I can't tell if it's taken over this thing called You or not, but this book is the process of science of mind. He sat down with Willis Kinnear, Ernest did, and they did the what, the how, and the why. Like 23 chapters of it. And it's really, really good. And it's clearly laid out and easy to understand. And I very, very, very much enjoyed it. What we are doing now is we are in the appendix because we're done. We're done with the book. But in the appendix, he is giving you real examples. He is giving you situations, probably situations that people have come to him and said, hey, can you treat about this? And so he is giving you a little explanation about what he thinks about the situation. And then he is giving you effectively either you could consider it a meditation, you consider it an affirmation, or you can use it as a declaration. Now, what I will tell you about this, and I'll say it before and I'll say it after, is if the words resonate with you, feel free to use them. If they do not resonate with you, then feel free to change them. You can absolutely use everything in here that he has used, any of his real world examples, in part or in whole, but you want to make sure you're using words that make you feel. So if he uses, because there was one that I was like, yep, no, I could use that whole thing without even blinking. Everything in there was just right. Then one of them he read and I went, yeah, no, I don't like any of that. I wouldn't, but I could still use it as a template to write my own. And then every now and again, there's one where it's like, okay, fine. I like it, but this word doesn't work for me. I would use this word instead. Okay? So that's the power of what he is giving you in this appendix. And that is the reason why I'm reading them. Because I want them out there. And he had one the other day that I pulled, the whole thing was great, but what I pulled out of there is accepting peace, I am called. And that is an affirmation that I can hold on to all day long. And would have, if I had remembered it, would have been very helpful. Yeah. We went for a bike ride. Now, 4 years ago, I think, I got bit by a German Shepherd on my outer thigh and fell off my bike. It was a hurting nip. He punctured the skin. I did bleed. And thankfully I don't remember falling off. And both dogs ran off as soon as I screamed and fell off my bike, thank God. But this morning, there were 3 German Shepherds and no person in sight. And we hit the loop, and there was one right at the end of the loop, drinking out of the puddle. And I stopped, a good 10 feet from him and talked to him because I was scared out of my mind. But I couldn't let the dog know that. So I just, I stopped and talked to the dog, and thankfully, yes, the dog barked at me, but he also he was wagging his tail. So I'm like, okay, in cat language, that's a bad thing, but in dog language, that's a good thing. And then, I talked to him, and he barked at me, and then I said, okay, I'm going to go on now. And he kind of moved over that way, and I went that way, and accepting peace, I am calm. Yeah. My heart rate stayed up for the rest of that bike ride. But that's the power of having an affirmation like that. In that situation where I was definitely afraid, I was able to remain calm. That is the power of doing this work. So, all right. But today is not about calm. Today is about supply and abundance. So, and that's a topic that it's very apropos right now. It is definitely something that people are concerned about. So let's do supply and abundance. Spiritual science cannot promise something for nothing. It does not teach that you can have anything you want, no matter what it is, or that your thought can precipitate $1 million. It does, however, teach, and it can demonstrate that a betterment of circumstances and conditions and relationships can be brought about through spiritual mind treatment. Okay, and that is very clearly written. We get accused of all kinds of things, and the prosperity, movement in our thing. Science of mind is about a whole lot of things, and it's been co-opted by the prosperity movement. Suddenly, that's all we're about is prosperity. No! Well, he just said it right there. Look. You're not going to get something for nothing. Science of mind can't promise you that. But what it can do is better your relationship, it can support you in bettering your relationships, bettering your conditioning, and bettering your situation. It's not something for nothing. And I appreciate just absolutely how clear he just was in that. And that's important because prosperity is important, but it is not all we are. It is not even by far a bulk of what we are. And I appreciate that he said that in plain English. All right. Okay, so let's go back to it does, however, teach, and it can demonstrate that a betterment of circumstances and conditions and relationships can be brought about through spiritual mind treatment, which means an inward realization of the action of a power greater than you are in your affairs. It would be unthinkable to believe that the creative intelligence of the universe could lack anything, or that it could plan for its creations to lack that which expresses its own being. We may be certain that the divine intends only good, only in abundance for its creation, because it is the very essence of life and givingness. In the spiritual mind treatment work for success, for right action, for right compensation, we work to know that divine abundance is forever flowing into everything we do. We are guided by a divine intelligence and impelled to act on this guidance. In other words, we do not expect someone to suddenly thrust a fortune upon us, but we do have every right to expect that we shall be gradually led from where we may be to something better and more abundant. Anyone who will give a spiritual mind treatment over a period of time will be able to prove this. Okay. So I appreciate that he says it. In other words, we do not expect to have someone suddenly thrust a bunch of money at us, but we do expect to be gradually led from where we may be to something better. And I think that's where people get frustrated. It's like, no, I need it now. Okay. And there are situations where it's called spontaneous remission or spontaneous, where things suddenly happen. And that's one of the Ernest's big ones is like people come to him going, I need money for this bill. I need money for this bill. I need money for this bill. And Ernest is like, well, what if the bill just went away? That's where you have to be really careful. Because if you're focused on needing money for the bill, then you're cutting off maybe the bill just goes away. So, here, this is his treatment. And it starts with divine abundance. Divine abundance is forever manifesting itself in my affairs. I desire to do only that which is good and constructive, life-giving and life-expressing. Therefore, I know that I shall prosper in everything I do. I know that I exist in limitless possibility, and that the infinite good is right where I am and active in my experience. I believe that everything for complete self-expression is now the law of my individual being. New thoughts, new ideas, new situations are forever unfolding before me. There are new opportunities for self-expression and for abundant life and love and happiness. This I expect, and this I accept. At which point I want to go, boom, there it is, right? This I expect, this I accept. And that's part of it. That is part of it with abundance, a lot, with the prosperity and abundance movement, is people can get a little weird about it. And they're like, oh, well, I want this. But then in the back of their mind, they're like, yeah, but I'm not worthy of this. Or, or maybe especially when it comes to like money, it's like, or wealth or, that status, I've been told that this is what I should want, but it isn't actually what you want. Everybody wants enough and my favorite, it was Raymond Charles Barker. He said true abundance is being able to do what you want when you want. And that has nothing to do with money. It has a lot to do with money, but it's not everything. Being able to do what you want when you want, that's abundance. And I think that's what I appreciate about my job. For the most part, I like my job, the one that pays my bills. So that I can consider that part of my abundance because I enjoy what I do. So, all right, there is that. All right. That was a really nice one. I really appreciated that. And ironically, tomorrow we'll do richer living. So I'm going to wrap this up and encourage you to have a great day, wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day. The rain has moved on day, but the heat is here day. So be aware of the heat day, drink plenty of water day, take care of yourself day. Let's start wrapping this week up day. Go do something good for yourself. I have a doctor's appointment today. I like my doctor though, so it's all good. Do something nice for somebody else day. Especially if you're feeling a little down, one of the best ways to get out of that is to volunteer and do something for somebody else. A cuddle your fur babies day, a make sure you make time to sit down and rest day, I think I've already said drink plenty of water, but I'm going to hit it again, drink plenty of water day. A good day, and if that is too much pressure, because occasionally it is, simply have a day. You are enough, just as you are. You're a beloved expression of the divine. You are a brilliant light, divine spark, spirit in motion, God in action, an absolutely beautiful masterpiece, and a work in progress at the same time, at your own pace. Okay? Whew. At your own pace. That is my favorite part of the sentence. And as Reverend Jesse likes to say, you are a godling. So, explore the truth of your being. Get to know who the divine knows you to be. Because the divine knows you to be good. It's all the divine knows. So that's the good news. And from there, anything's possible. All right, beloveds. As I said, I do have a doctor's appointment, so I need to get on with this. Reverend David will be on sometime this afternoon. I will be back in the 9 to 9:15 hour. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved.